What's up, everybody? Welcome to Boompa World. Today's the inaugural, the first episode of my review, look back analysis, whatever this is. I just got Paper Mario Origami King for my birthday, so I said fuck it. I mean, I've seen a lot of clickbaity stuff about this game, both positive and negative, so they kind of turned me off from clicking. No offense if I used anyone's thumbnail right there. But I wanted to sit down and play through on this game, get my own opinion, and see if Paper Mario Origami King is worth the play. But as a disclaimer, I'm not like a Paper Mario guy really. I rented Thousand Year Door when I was younger, and then I borrowed like my kind of friend's big brother's original Paper Mario, and actually ended up selling it to Capital Games, like this local retro game store, after not seeing them for a few years. Ryan, I hope you're not watching. But I never beat them, but I enjoyed my time with them, so I'm not like a hater. I kind of just got busy and sidetracked with other shit. This time I'm dedicating myself to this new one because it looks pretty, and I can't help but be attracted to some good shadows and cute scenery. Same reason I got like 300 hours on Animal Crossing. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure from what I know from like YouTube and stuff, Paper Mario's had some pretty kind of controversial offerings recently. It comes to their fan base. And I was excited to see if they up their game or whatever, because I mean they had something special with the older ones. To see which pile Origami King would land, especially to like the diehard fans on Reddit and shit. The game was kind of surprise announced like a month before it dropped, and it's made by Intelligent Systems, who's known for the Fire Emblem games, which I never played. Excited nonetheless. But anyways, let's get right into the game and start checking like out its story. The story is pretty simple. It's kind of cute, and I think it does a little more than getting the job done like a basic Mario game. I won't spoil it outright, but it ties itself together and it's just relaxing to play through. Fight an origami douche named Ollie, who's folding everybody up. And he has a team called the Legion of Stationery. And then his sister actually works as your guide throughout the game, named Olivia. And so you already know they write in some kind of heartfelt moments and shit like that. Anyway, you have to fight not only the Legion of Stationery, but elemental beasts that Ollie folded into origami. Olivia learns how to fold them up and then harnesses their power. And you use like them to solve puzzles like melting ice, causing earthquakes, shit like that. Go through that as you try to cut down all of the ribbons this origami dickhead set up and tied around Peach's castle. Literally tied a bunch of ribbons around it and lifted up and suspended it up in the air. But during that, adventure ensues, and the world feels pretty real, like breathing and immersive, or whatever people say. Like, characters are pretty funny generally, and they actually have some level of charm, which was more than I expected. I mean, I really didn't come in having much expectations, but I smiled a good amount. I mean, I laughed at least twice. Besides Olivia acting like Navi or whatever, you have a companion for like good chunks of the game, but they usually leave after you finish a certain area. Like, there's gonna be a toad in the desert, but he doesn't leave that area. Or like a sailor toad by the boat. It's linear, don't get me wrong, but you can see the next ribbon in the distance, which always kind of kept me feeling like, hey, I'm progressing. Bet, like, I'm gonna go get that bitch. But the game has some fun dialogue, which is to be expected of a Mario RPG. Like, it didn't take itself too seriously, and I laughed sometimes, but sometimes I felt a bit out of the demographic for jokes, but I don't think that's really their fault. They didn't design the jokes for like old ass man children. So there were funny moments, and I found myself talking to pretty much everybody I could just to see what they had to say. But anyways, back to the story. I was surprised there were actually moments where I was intrigued, like, and couldn't stop playing till I found out what's next. Like on Mushroom Island, where you find the origin of the origami. But look, I'm not trying to spoil this because I think this game actually deserves a playthrough from you. So like, I'll try and tiptoe around like everything. But damn, even Luigi's funny. Like, as you progress and grind, he seems to always be a step ahead of you somehow, even though he's like clumsily moving forward. But he's always like, I found the key to get in Peach's castle. But then he gives you like the random key that you actually needed to progress. So he would always be like mad at himself, but he'd actually be helping. Always rewarding to see Luigi after figuring out a string of puzzles. But the game at the end really wraps itself up in a bow in a box and delicately places itself under the Christmas tree and kisses you on. But I also realized like I didn't get the secret ending or something, and it wants me to 100% the game, like get all the toads, all the hidden question blocks, fill in all the holes, and I'm sorry, I just don't do that stuff. I'm not this 100% completionist. Yeah, so it just puts me back to like my last save because I think it wants me to do that, but nah, I don't need any end game for this. I got other shit to play. But wow, the ending was pretty epic. Like, that's the word I'd use to describe it. Like, it's 2012. But everybody saw the weird ass Microsoft Excel battle format. Whatever the fuck. What is the gameplay? So like I said, pretty much outside like the first like 10 minutes of gameplay, you have the little origami companion Olivia, which works as like Navi, like that type of thing with Zelda. She tells you all about everything, and she's pretty heavy like early on tutorial dialogue. Yeah, but every time also you're stumped, you can just press X and she comes out and actually helps a lot. And it's not like annoying, like she actually is pretty likable. But yeah, the start was pretty tutorial-y. No like problem with that though. Hold on, let me itch my eye. Into the game, but I understand the weird looking grid system may like initially take the 11-year-olds this game was designed for a bit of time and repetition to get used to. Despite this, the aesthetics, colors, story, characters actually drew me in right away and made it instantly fun. Even if I wasn't battling stuff frequently. Like I kind of was just walking around figuring out puzzles. I mean, there was a cool gospel soul like musical number in like the first like hour. Like I was really hoping this game didn't blow its load right at the start because this was a high note, but like it just kept surprising me. But a thing that worried me was like Intelligent Systems said they couldn't like edit characters. Like one of the developers said that. Like, so every toad had to be a toad. I was like worried there wouldn't be enough character to last throughout this game, but I was wrong. Like, I had charisma. Between battles, besides puzzle solving, you walk around hitting shit, confetti comes out, and then you have to fill in these holes that they made, like, that for some reason Ollie made. Also, you can, like, buy this upgrade for the confetti to just make it look like spring, like the blossom petals or whatever. Find toads everywhere. Like, you hit them, and you hit like something random, or you solve like a really simple puzzle and you find them, and they actually have a use besides just like as a collectible. They watch all your battles, and you can even like call on them. Like if you put a ton of coins, they'll give you like a heart to heal you up. They'll throw something at the people you're fighting. It was kind of funny. Like I was actually happy it was useful in like more than just a collectible. Speaking of collectibles, you also find like rare collectibles, like a little model of Peach's castle, like that, or like even like a heart that raises your HP a little. But back to the battles. The grid battles are dictated by how many times you can move a layer of the grid, and like how many actions, aka attacks, you can do per turn. So the battles are timed, and they aren't slow, but I just thought it was funny I'd get time up because I was like watching something or checking my phone. And then the time would be up, and like all of the enemies would not be lined up, and I'd just be fucked. But you can move the grid horizontally or vertically. I also enjoyed that strategy, but it kind of reminded me of like a mobile game for some reason. I don't even know why, and don't even ask me to elaborate. Anyway, up to the first boss, it was really handholdy, and the boss battles are basically like the Pokemon arrows from like the rocket hideout on like its drug of choice. It's overwhelming at first, but you get the hang of it like pretty fast. Like by the end of like the second boss, which was a fucking colored pencil thing, but I was having a blast. Like the little nuggets of gameplay, fighting, puzzle solving, finding toads, filling confetti holes, using my arms, or like using one of those elemental beasts I mentioned earlier with Olivia to do something. It really just all clicked together and seemed to work. Also, like many random places have like this coffee shop that just felt like a vibe to me. I'm sure like in the background I've been using that music because I enjoyed that music. I'll get into the soundtrack a little bit later. But yeah, I felt like there were fun like little nooks and crannies in the world that gave it that much more personality and care. Like I liked exploring, and the game encouraged it, even if it's pretty linear. The worst part about this is I really just wish we had experience in levels. I mean, like, I guess scaling might be somehow difficult, or you didn't want like kids to have to grind, but this is just an RPG without the elements. Like, it's sorely missing leveling up and learning new moves like that. You gain HP, raise your attack and damage, but it's not through XP. Like, it's not no experience or anything. It's just through finding like a big heart before a boss battle, or sometimes just randomly, or by buying accessories. Like, you can buy things to improve your guard and raise the time you have to move the grid and stuff. Like, that's still a form of progression, but it still stings. But I'm not really going to let that cloud my vision at this point, because Paper Mario hasn't really had that type of progression in its game for the better part of 10 years. I think these fuckers should just start getting over it. Like, it's not gonna have that type of shit. It just didn't have any voids in gameplay. Like, I was just constantly doing different shit. Each scene was like really thoroughly designed. The game was cool as fuck. They really went hard, I'm not gonna lie. Like, they even had some boss battles that weren't even on the grid system. They just occurred in the overworld, and they didn't even have turn-based gameplay. It was just like ones that required timing and you just had to bonk the hammer or jump on some head. The gameplay's just varied enough for me to not get tired of how linear it is. There was even a period of the game that was kind of like a Diet Wind Waker demo, where you scoured the sea for treasure and shit like that. But stuff around you was actually changing. The game was cool because it gave me a childlike, what's about to happen next feeling. As the game went on, puzzles got harder, slightly more cryptic, and they had like bigger scopes, like you have to do this, to do this, to do this. But you could always ask Olivia if you were stuck. I'm comfortable with that because I'm not like a dude that's like a Zelda god or something. Like I would sometimes have to look up shit on there. But with this game I didn't really have to because I would just ask Olivia if I was like really stumped. I was in a theatrical performance where people were trying to kill me. The next I was on a dance floor in an ancient abandoned temple. And I even got to go through the 3 trial in an underground forgotten island. This felt like a Mario anime. It's the first Paper Mario game I ever beat. I was really just constantly surprised, thinking it was running out of juice, and then bam, I'm in like a game show. But that being said, I did feel like the game may have overstayed its welcome just a tad. Like I'm not an expert gamer, but I did feel like some spots dragged on a bit, and I kind of just wanted to cut to the chase. Like I would oftentimes dodge battles or continuously flee until it actually worked, because half the time when you're trying to leave the battle, Mario just falls and it doesn't work. But because I just didn't feel the need to continue fighting, like it does take a little bit from the game, like, but not too much. Like this is Mario's true odyssey. I'm just kidding. I know. I thought it would suck. I really thought it was gonna suck. It was fun and rewarding constantly. The places looked beautiful and it had fitting music to boot. You go to places like a Shogun theme park, a forest with gospel and soul, a train station that has autumn leaves, a purple desert in the night that turns into a blistering hot regular orange sandy desert once you restore the sun. It took the non-RPG parts out of Paper Mario and really knocked it out of the park. There's like fun mini games, like you throw ninja stars in one. Like there's just so much to interact with and look out for. The sound effects are pleasing to the ear. Like the way your controller vibrates when you land on someone's head, it feels fire. Like, there's a song for every damn thing in this game. Like, the music fit each situation it was in, which shows how much they really gave a shit to me. Like, I just enjoyed it. Oh, at the end, the graphics maintain, if not get better than the start. Had every spot polished. My dick seriously almost just got hard. There's so many scenes, so many weird places this game takes you. And it actually has a sense of adventure. Like, I felt like I was in a world and I was walking around trying to just actually get this shit done. 20 hours into my 30-hour adventure, like I said, I just started to flee and avoid fighting enemies because I didn't really need coins or confetti or anything. Like, and I didn't really even like look for the collectibles that hard. Like, you find them on when you find them, they're on display like at the museum in Toad Town, which was kind of the world's hub, but not really. There was also a fast travel system called the Fax Travel, which was a cool pun, I guess, but I didn't really find it necessary. I feel like it was just put in for the pun, because there's also the pipe hub thing. Like there's like fast travel pipes that take you to Toad Town or take you to like any of like the areas. It really almost felt like it was like a Disney movie type shit. And spoiler free, but I think a few things might have slipped through my lips, slipped through the ass crack of my face. That was my experience with Paper Mario Origami King. Minus some late game stuff. Like I felt like I was leading the way, but also have no idea what the hell I was going the whole time as the game like unfolded in front of me. Like I don't know why, but I feel obligated to rate this game, because I feel like reviewers on here, they do all this great analysis and talk about the game, and they say if they recommend it and everything, but I want to put a score on it too. Like why do they never put scores on it? I'm at 8.2 out of 10, and I recommend it to anyone 11 especially and up. But you'll probably have, but that's all I got for you today. Please leave some feedback, some comments. Let me know what you thought of this game. Let me know if this video was cool. Let me know where this stands in your Paper Mario rank or whatever, especially if you're like a fan. But thanks for watching. Have a good day, and like the video or subscribe or try to do what's good in this world.